Hello everyone, this is 2021 Katz Super Analytics Challenges. We are Team 3, I'm using Guan. My team members are Jake, John, and Zehui. Next slide. We know that there are many factors affect people to become homeless. Once they become homeless, the government and the organization provide two kinds of a solution to help them back to the normal life. The one is the temporary solutions like emergency shelters and transitional shelter. And the permanent solution will be the rapid housing or the permanent housing. However, this time we will put our eyes on rapid rehousing because among all the programs support to the homeless people, rapid rehousing is most cost effective. But currently, this program didn't show wells on some of the factors related to timing programs, exit to the permanent housing, unit utilization, and also the data behind is not qualified for us to do more in-depth analysis. So that we want to find the solutions to find the way that if we can decrease the time that people stay in the rapid rehousing, but without increasing the return homelessness. And at the same time, we also want to find that if there are any specific factors related to income or non-income will affect them to stay longer in this program. And also if we will examine the data quality and availability to see that if the data can help us to do more analytics. Next slide. And we expect that once we focus on these problems and also provide the relative solutions, we can have the following four expected impact. The first is we want to increase the stability of the income and also the affordable household cost for the people in homeless to make sure that they can get enough support assistance related to economic factors and help them back to the normal life and not return to homelessness situations again. The second is we want to improve the utility rate of the rapid rehousing. Currently, there are still the room for them to improve. So we make sure that once improved, we can solve the cost for a whole budget provided for the homeless situations solutions. And third is we want that if these programs can run sufficient, we will allow more people in emergency shelters or transitional shelters to transfer to the rapid rehousing. And also there are more capacity for the unsheltered people to enter into these systems. The fourth is that we want these solutions can make the more impact insight to the government organization to better use the resource, which has been strategically transferred to the rapid rehousing, and we can make their monies more, maximize their benefit. So next slide, we will show you what the data found and what the solutions are. Next slide.
We used a binary logistic regression model in order to identify the factors which had the greatest impact on the length of stay in the rapid rehousing program. Our best fit model gave us an accuracy of 60%, which is lower than we would have liked, but it still did give us some statistically significant information regarding these factors. In terms of lengthening the stay, we found that drug and alcohol abuse, chronic health conditions, and disabling conditions all lengthened the stay in the program. Other research supports that the prevalence of family homelessness is higher for young families with small children, female head of household, and African-American families. But what we really focused on is that some sources of income and income level were statistically significant in reducing the time in the program. But one issue with this is that currently the threshold for income is below 30% of the average income for the area. So for Allegheny County, that's about $24,900 or $12.97 per hour at a full-time job. That income level leaving the program, once you're out, is really quite low and it's very difficult for people to continue to support themselves without these benefits and assistance. Many places can see rent as high as 50% of your income. And so to have such a low threshold is quite difficult for people to exit into permanent situations without returning to these homelessness and other financial distress. Next slide, please. We broke down the rapid rehousing program into 3 phases, and we think that we have solutions to improve each phase of the program. So as a whole, we can see improvement throughout the entire program. So there's the housing identification phase, which helps families find a place to live that suits them. Then there is rent and move-in assistance to help pay for the costs of moving to their new residence, as well as helping to pay the rent in that location. Throughout the time in the program, there is case management to help the people to ready themselves for an exit to permanent housing without returning to homelessness. And we think that we can improve each phase of this in order to improve the overall success of the program. Next.
Now let's dive down into some details of the solution. So for the entering stage of the rapid rehousing program, our hypothesis is that if we loosen that 30% criteria for entering, there will be more homeless people benefited by this program. And also to enlarge the capacity of rapid rehousing, we came up with an idea that if the government or the city can provide tax benefits for companies in private markets, for them to provide more housing resources for homeless people, it will be an increase in the resource we have to help people in need. And also for people who are currently in the rapid rehousing program, there are some methods that we can help to increase their income and shorten their length of stay. First, the program can reach out to nonprofit organizations, companies, and universities to partner with them on providing skill building workshop or self-enhancing programs. And meanwhile, to help on the job searching, we can also hold career fairs for homeless people only, and based on the partnerships we have with these organizations. And secondly, for people who are not able to obtain enough income to afford their housing in short term, the rapid rehousing program can partner with other homeless programs in the system, and especially those who need intense workforce. People can apply to work in these homeless programs. For example, they can work in an emergency shelter to earn work credits and use that credit to exchange for their stay in that stable housing. And data collection here is also an important process. So if we have good enough data in hand, we can do more analyzation based on that data. And this might be helpful to shorten people's length of stay in the program and may also help us to allocate our resources more concisely to people in need. Next slide, please. Then we come to the exit stage. Before people exit the rapid rehousing program, we want to make sure that they have the ability to maintain their jobs and their earnings. Therefore, we suggest to expand our previous partnership with these organizations or universities to provide necessary service for them. And students and volunteers are very good resources we can reach out to. And as a student myself, I'm willing to provide my help utilizing the knowledge I've learned, and just like what we are doing right now. And after people exit the rapid rehousing program, one thing we recommend is to keep up the information collection process. We still want to know how people are doing after they received our help and exit the program. Meanwhile, this data collection will also allow us to keep an eye on the return rate. Next slide, please.
So lastly, let's talk about the financial benefit of the Rapid Rehousing Program. In 2018, the National Low Income Housing Coalition came up with a report detailing monthly costs per family for 3 different housing programs. As we can see on the right, rapid rehousing cost roughly $880. Transitional housing cost almost $2,700, and emergency cost over $4,800. So obviously, there is a financial incentive to move individuals from emergency and transitional housing into the rapid rehousing phase, almost up to $4,000 to move them. In 2019, the National Alliance to End Homelessness reported an average cost of roughly $6,600 per rapid rehousing case. Now, cases could be individual or they could be family. So there's a little bit of a gray area here, but it was roughly $16,900 per emergency shelter case. So again, we're saving two and a half, or we're spending 2.5 times the normal amount or the rapid rehousing amount on emergency shelter. So what does this tell us? If we move more individuals from emergency shelter and transitional housing, we can save roughly 60 to 70% of our costs just by doing that. And now we haven't even maximized the utilization in Allegheny County. We still have roughly 10% that we can still fill. That's 553 beds, or maybe 138 families with four individuals. So there is great financial incentive to push people to this program. Now, on top of that, if we could increase not even the utilization, but the amount of beds we have in this program, that would save more. That would save more costs. And as we don't push, but as more individuals come in and the length of stay decreases, that means more individuals can continue to come. So this whole thing is having a flow of individuals in the homeless community coming through and utilizing this, and it's cheaper for it's cheaper for Allegheny County. Now, lastly, we wanted to see some of the risks. One is policy changes. We understand that HUD has a lot of say over what the benchmarks are and how individuals can enter rapid rehousing programs. So this is something we need to take up with HUD and other homeless or other counties. And then lastly is a willingness for organizations, companies, and universities to partner. We might have mentioned a financial incentive, but sometimes financial isn't the best incentive to have these organizations partner with us. So these are two things that we do see as risks to our solution. Again, thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you have a great day.